about where you see this country going in the future. Charlie Daniels.
An awful lot of that depends on what happens in this next election. In my opinion, I personally think if Obama gets elected again and gets any kind of unless the other side gets, and I'm not a Republican or Democrat, I don't claim allegiance to either party. I just can't see any good coming out of it. If you stop and figure, you cannot get out of debt by spending money, and this debt has got to be tackled at some time or other. Our entitlement thing has to be tackled at one time or another. The country's just going to go broke. And, this, we got to see what happens and hopefully make some gains and build on that. But the whole thing about it is, like I said, that, the further we get away from God, the worse off this country gets. And that was a National Day of Prayer yesterday, and there were millions of people around the country that were praying for God to intervene and help us get back on the right path here. So that's the main thing. And I don't see any good coming out of another Obama administration. I'm sorry. I don't hate the man. I don't hate anybody. But I do not see his policies working at all.
Well, look, Obama has openly said he wants a world government, and he doesn't believe in individual liberty. He is a tyrant. And I look at now a leaked Army document Obama had him set up, a plan for re-education camps in America. And this just broke yesterday, so you probably haven't seen it. But then I have this video breaking down Bill Ayers, who was for re-education camps. That came out in federal court. And he, of course, was Obama's mentor. But to learn that they're trying to get the Army, and that's why this leaked, the Army doesn't like it, to prepare to basically round up political dissenters, that means us, and re-educate us. Boy, I tell you, this is... What do you think of that if it's true, Charlie? I know you haven't had a chance to see it yet.
I think it's going to be a hell of a war in this country. Exactly what I think. You can't stand still for this. There's no way you can stand still for this. They're going to come. That's what I was talking about. The midnight knock on the door. What's the difference between here and Soviet Union if we do that? That's what they do in China. That's what they do in North Korea. That's what they did in the Soviet Union back in the old Iron Curtain days. That is not America. That we cannot allow that to happen in America. And anybody who promotes that, Obama, Holder, whoever, needs to be gone. They do not need to be in any position of power at all. That's what we've got to do somehow. We have got to get away from these people that give me society.
Sir, but we're about to go to break, but there is some good news. Record numbers of guns are being sold, 5 million in 1 month a few months ago. The American people say it's because they don't trust this president and this government. So I think the system needs to understand that.
Well, I think we need to understand it, too. And I tell you what, anything to do with guns ain't going well. I live in Tennessee, and people treasure their guns there. And, for hunting and target shooting and stuff, and protection. But it ain't going to go well in my party country at all. It's not going to go down good.
Yeah, we know. Tennessee, the volunteer state, helped found Texas. And Tennessee's thrown bad governments out before. And we'll be right back.
Alex Jones.
All right, Charlie's with us another 20 minutes. He'd stay longer, but he's got to get on down the road to play a gig. And I said, hey, listen, we'll get you out here in 20 minutes and you can be off the races. And he said, oh, you don't know how true that is. I'm playing the Kentucky Derby this weekend. Okay, let's go to some phone calls here. Jonathan, Michael, John, Patriot, Richard, and others. Jonathan in Texas, you're on the air with Charlie Daniels.
Yes, sir. This is glad to speak with you, Charlie Daniels. This is Ed Fox 777. And I was wondering, can you by chance assemble a cast to sing about Agenda 21, similar to like they did with We Are the World?
Hey, listen, he's the guy that did the song that In America. Oh, I love that song. And then, so many other patriotic ones. Yeah, we saw that new song that came out by Hank Williams Jr., telling Obama where he can go for getting him fired. What about you doing something like that?
Well, I kind of take it as it comes. I get these inspirations to write songs. That was a unique idea that you came up with there, Jonathan. I hadn't really thought about it in that way. I am very much, I want so bad, and what we're doing now is good, is to let people know. A lot of people don't know this thing even exists. They have to know what it exists. They have to know what's in it. And I believe when they do, we will see some mad people in this country.
You could have a song about get your 21 out of here, or you're going to get a 21-gun salute.
That's right. That probably would happen, too.
Oh, man.
Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Man, Michael in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, gentlemen, it's a pleasure speaking to you. Hey, yes, sir. Big fan of yours. And you know what? You probably hear my Yankee accent. I've only been down here in Texas for a few years, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me, this job transfer. But the thing that, and I'm asking if you've seen this, even in your state, people that, all they care about probably is volunteer football and, Dancing with the Stars, or even on, CMT, they'll watch them, that version of
yeah, but there's always people, I want his answer to this, but there's always people that don't care. It's always been a minority that actually fights for liberty, just like in 1776. Charlie?
Yeah, that's true, but if it's a fair enough minority, you get the majority's attention. People don't realize this thing. I was unaware of the scope of this thing myself, but just a short while ago. I've been hearing about this global thing going on for a long time, but to get down and get specific about it, they've now put a lot of it in writing as to what it
exactly is. Who showed you the proof? Who showed you the proof and turned Charlie Daniels loose?
I looked stuff on the internet. I mean, it's there. It's there for you to look.
I know, but I mean, I'm interested in who got you to look, because this is what you're talking about. We've got to give people the facts.
Well, they got me specifically on Agenda 21 was Chuck Undersea, who did this movie, because he's really delved into it. He's talked to people that are very familiar with what it is. This documentary, this Beyond the Pale Horse, goes into this whole situation. It names names. It names agendas. It names what has happened, how far we have come along, or how far down the trail we are, and some people who explain from their point of view the general. His name slips my mind right now. I can't remember. He was head of the Special Forces. This is a man who has the credentials behind him that is a great American who explains what has happened to this nation insofar as headed towards socialism is concerned. The steps that were taken in other places where socialism took a hold, the steps that they took, what they did, how they went in, how they started. And it goes through this whole thing, and he stands there and explains it, and you believe him because he's telling the truth.
It is.
Because he is a man with the credentials behind him to know what he's talking about.
Well said, Michael, thank you. John, Patriot, Richard, Doris, everybody, your calls are coming up. Usually we have calls from all over the country. It's Tennessee and Texas calling today, and Michigan. And we got some in Kansas.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, we'll be right back. No, it's awesome. Charlie Daniels, I'm like a little kid in a candy shop here. This is fun. Okay, a Texas filmmaker has made a new film with Charlie Daniels. Behold a Pale Horse, America's Last Chance, and they do have a great website, beholdapalehorse.tv. So we do have that website for you. Of course, my websites are Infowars.com and Prisonplanet.com. My film on Agenda 21 and the UN takeover system is Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. It's free online. Even though you know about this, folks, pay it forward. Get the video online, YouTube, Google, pass it on to others. We also are carrying another film that exposes Agenda 21, Farmageddon, eye-popping wake-up call, Los Angeles Times, of how they are harassing farmers, Amish, you name it. I mean, they're arresting people for gardens or selling tomatoes now. I mean, they want it shut down. That's available at Infowars.com. Charlie Daniels of CharlieDaniels.com is our guest. And we were talking during the break. He says he'll come back on with the filmmaker of Behold a Pale Horse. So we'll line that up the next month. Excited about that and excited to get my copy. I actually got invited to the premiere last week. Like an idiot, didn't go to that either. But it's good to learn all this today. I just knew we were getting Charlie Daniels on, and I'm excited to have him. Anything else, Charlie, before we plunge back into calls in this final segment that is burning in your heart and mind right now that you'd like to relay to the population?
Well, just, the thing about yesterday, I met with a whole bunch of good folks, and we talked about it. Remember, we have one hope, and it is to get back next to God. That's this country was founded on that. And there's a big war on Christians right now. Don't be intimidated by it, because we win this thing in the end. and just stay with it. Stand up for what you believe in. That's the name of the game.
Well, there's a reason the globalists and the communists and the socialists and the collectivists are always trying to henpeck us into shutting up, because we've got the power. Free market, capitalism, liberty, private property, family, God, country. That trumps the crap, I'm sorry to use that word, they're selling. And so they want to shut us up.
You're right. Absolutely. Yeah, we ain't going to shut up, are we?
No.
I ain't never shut up.
Oh, man. Let's talk to Richard in Kansas. You're on the air with Charlie Daniels. Welcome.
Good to speak with you again, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Richard.
How you doing, Charlie?
I'm well, thank you.
My question to you is, upon reading the Undercover of Darkness signing of, for example, the National Defense Authorization Act, if upon reading that you got the exact same sort of red flag feeling that a lot of us got, thinking this is automatically for us, not for other countries.
Yeah, let me put it this way. Obama now says the war on terror is overseas, and Al-Qaeda's good, going after Libya, and they're our friend now, and bin Laden's dead. But then he says, we're going to expand the TSA. Now they have checkpoints in Texas and in Houston and Dallas where they grope your wife and your family and your children. So now they're telling us the war on terror is for the returning veterans and gun owners and libertarians. I don't know if you saw those Homeland Security documents.
I did hear about that. That's just a daggone disgrace. I mean, that just you want to get my blood boiling. You start messing with the military and with the veterans. They are, without them, there is no us. And I have been among these people in the last few years, our men and women in uniform, in some pretty desolate parts of this world. I want to tell you what, they're the best we've got. The best we got is not on Capitol Hill. The best we've got is in the uniform of the United States military. They're the best Americans we got. And when I see somebody messing with them, it just makes it really gets my dander up. Our people who are returning from our wars are heroes and should be treated as heroes. And for anybody to even have the arrogance of accusing them after they've gone and put their lives on the line for this country, and somebody comes along and accuses them of being a terrorist, come on, man. That's too far.
Well, the person doing that is obviously the un-American terrorist. But that shows they want to bring in this Agenda 21. They are scared in these documents, MIAC and Homeland Security. It's made big news. If you're a new listener, folks, this is real. Gun owners, libertarians, conservatives, constitutionalists, but number one, returning veterans. They're teaching police that they're the biggest terror threat.
Well, that's just BS, man. That's just crazy. Let me tell you something. America is not stupid. I mean, I guarantee. How many people are going to believe that? That sounds like something out of a fictional novel of some kind. That our returning veterans are terrorists? Come on. Nobody's going to believe that. Nobody does believe that. Of course, there's people that are just sheep that are led around by the nose who believe anything you're told. But people that get up and go to work in the morning and make a living for their family, good God-fearing people are not going to believe that. They know that's a bunch of BS.
The only people that would say something like that are people that want to overthrow this country. They come in and say constitutionalists and libertarians and